Draw near, beloved, there is a story I want to tell you. There was once a grandfather who loved his grandson more than the stars, loved the darkness they pierced through. His name was Samuel, but the boy called him Pops, and when Thomas was 7 years old and the world still felt too big for small shoulders, they made a promise. Every Saturday morning at dawn, they would meet at the old wooden dock on Miller Lake with 2 fishing rods and a tackle box that smelled of rust and memories. This was their cathedral. This was their sanctuary where heaven bent low enough to touch the water. "Promise me, Pops," Thomas said one morning when the mist was still thick as wool over the lake, clutching his grandfather's calloused hand, "that you will always be here." Samuel looked down at those wide brown eyes that trusted him completely, and he smiled the kind of smile that carries the weight of forever. "I promise, little man," he said. "Every Saturday at dawn, I will be right here on this dock with your rod already baited and a thermos of hot chocolate waiting. Nothing in this world could keep me away." For years they kept that promise with the faithfulness of tides answering the moon. Every Saturday morning, while the world was still draped in sleep, Samuel would arrive at the dock with the tackle box and 2 rods. One for him. One for the boy who made his heart feel young again. Thomas would come running down the path with stories spilling from his lips about dragons he fought in dreams and castles he built in his mind. They would cast their lines into the silver water, and in that quiet space between heartbeats, Samuel would teach him things. Things about patience, things about character, things about being a man when the world is watching and when it is not. There was the morning when Thomas was 8 and he caught his first base. It was not big enough to keep, and Thomas cried when Samuel showed him they had to throw it back. His grandfather knelt beside him right there on the weathered planks and lifted his chin. "Little man Samuel," said, the fish still flopping in his gentle hands, "we do not keep things just because we can. We let go of what is not ours to hold yet. One day, you will catch fish big enough to keep. But today you learned something more important. You learned that real strength is knowing when to hold on and when to let go." Thomas nodded through his tears, and together they released the base back into the dark water. They watched it disappear into the depths, and Samuel tousled the boy's hair. "That fish will grow, Thomas. And so will you. And maybe one day, years from now, you will catch him again, and you will remember this moment. You will remember that everything worth having is worth waiting for." There was the Saturday when Thomas was 9, and he asked why his father never came to visit. Samuel was quiet for a long time, watching his bobber drift across the surface. Then he spoke, and his voice was steady as stone. "Your daddy is fighting battles you cannot see, little man. Some people get lost in their own storms. But you listen to me. His choices do not define your worth. You are loved. You are wanted. And you are never alone. I am here. I will always be here." Thomas leaned against his grandfather's shoulder, and they sat like that for an hour without speaking. Sometimes love is not in the words. Sometimes love is just showing up, being present, staying. There was the morning when Thomas was 10, and he asked about death because his goldfish had died, and the concept terrified him. Samuel pulled in his line and set down his rod. He pointed to the eastern sky where the sun was just beginning to paint the horizon in shades of amber and gold. "You see that sunrise, Thomas? Every single morning it comes. No matter how dark the night was, no matter how fierce the storm, the sun always returns. That is what I believe about the people we love who go to heaven. They are like the sun. We cannot always see them, but they are always there. And one day when our night is over, we will see them again in a morning that never ends." Thomas thought about this for a long time. Then he picked up his rod and cast his line. "Pops," he said, "will you be there in that morning?" Samuel smiled. "I will be the one with the tackle box, little man, already waiting with your rod baited. But time is a thief that steals slowly enough you do not notice until everything is gone." 13 brought middle school, and a sudden awareness that fishing with your grandfather was not as cool as it once seemed. 13 brought new friends who slept late on Saturdays and video games that lasted until dawn. "I cannot make it this Saturday," Pops Thomas said over the phone, his voice cracking in that awkward space between boy and man. "I have a project due. I have a sleepover at Jake's. I have practice. "That is all right, little man," Samuel would say, his voice steady as the dock pilings that never moved no matter how rough the water got. Maybe next week, but next week became next month. Next month became next season. 14 brought high school and the weight of trying to fit in. 14 brought a girlfriend with blonde hair and a smile that made him forget everything else. 14 brought football practice and late-night study sessions, and a life that suddenly felt too full for early morning fishing trips. 15 brought a driver's license and the freedom to go anywhere except the one place he had promised to be. 15 brought parties and rebellion, and the arrogance of youth that believes it has time to spare. 15 brought the lie that Pops would always be there, so there was no rush. "I cannot make it this Saturday" became a text message. Then the text messages became less frequent. Then they stopped altogether. 16 brought college applications and the belief that the future was more important than the past. 17 brought graduation and a scholarship to a university 3 states away. 18 brought move-in day and new friends who knew nothing about fishing or old wooden docks or promises made in the mist. Still, every Saturday morning Samuel would make the drive to Miller Lake with the tackle box and 2 rods, his joints growing stiff, his hands developing a tremor that made baiting hooks harder than it used to be. He would sit on the dock with the fishing rods, one for him, one for what was missing. When Thomas did not appear, Samuel would cast both lines anyway. He would watch the bobbers drift. He would listen to the water lap against the pilings. He would whisper memories into the morning air about a brown-eyed boy who once believed his grandfather hung the moon. The neighbors who lived on the lake noticed. They would see the old man sitting alone week after week with 2 rods, and they would shake their heads. Some thought it was sad. Some thought it was beautiful. None of them understood it was both. Samuel kept a journal. Small entries in shaky handwriting. Saturday, October 12th. Thomas did not come. Water was calm. Caught 3 bass. Kept his rod ready. Saturday, October 19th. Thomas did not come. First frost this morning. Thought of his cold hands when he was small. How I would warm them with my breath. Saturday, October 26th. Thomas did not come. His birthday next week. Bought him a new reel. We'll save it for when he returns. "Do you remember, little man," he would say to the empty space beside him. "Do you remember when you caught that first bass and cried? Do you remember when you asked about your father and I told you that you were loved? Do you remember when you asked about death and I showed you the sunrise? Do you remember when you promised you would always come?" The stroke found Samuel on a Saturday morning in November. Sudden as lightning splitting an oak, he was at the dock trying to open the tackle box, the one with the new reel wrapped in faded birthday paper. In the ambulance, when the paramedic asked about emergency contacts, he whispered Thomas' name. But Thomas was 700 miles away in Chicago at a startup company launch party, networking over champagne and small talk that tasted like ambition. When the call finally reached him, he was giving a presentation about quarterly projections to investors who cared about numbers, not people. His phone buzzed 3 times before he stepped out into the hallway to answer. "Your grandfather has had a massive stroke," the voice said. "You should come now. If you want to say goodbye, you should come now." The words hit like a fist through glass. When was the last time he had called? When was the last time he had visited? The years blurred together with promotions and conferences and late nights at the office chasing something he could not even name anymore. He drove through the night, his hands shaking on the steering wheel, memories flooding back like a dam breaking. Samuel's laugh, Samuel's patience, Samuel's hands teaching him how to tie a fisherman's knot, how to cast without tangling the line, how to wait for the right moment to set the hook. When had he stopped going to the dock? When had Saturday mornings become just another day? When had he let the promise die without even noticing? The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and artificial air. Machines beeped for a body that had been strong as oak and was now fragile as kindling. Samuel looked small against the white sheets, his face pale and drawn. But when he saw Thomas, his eyes lit up like sunrise over water. Thomas Samuel's voice was barely a whisper worn thin as old rope. "You came, Pops." Thomas fell to his knees beside the bed. "I am so sorry." I should have called. I should have visited. I should have been there. I should have kept my promise. Shh. Samuel lifted a trembling hand, the same hand that had taught him to bait a hook, the same hand that had wiped his tears, the same hand that had never once struck him in anger. He touched Thomas' cheek. You are here now. That is what matters. But I left you, Thomas choked on the words. Every Saturday you went to that dock and I left you alone. A tear rolled down Samuel's weathered face. I was never alone, little man. I had the memories. I had the sunrise. I had the hope that one day you would remember. Love does not keep a ledger of absences. Love just keeps showing up. Did you really go? Samuel nodded slowly. Every Saturday. Even when the arthritis made it hard to walk. Even when the doctor said I should rest. Even when the winters were bitter. I kept your rod ready. I kept the thermos filled. I kept the promise. Thomas buried his face in the sterile sheets and sobbed. Samuel stroked his hair the way he used to when Thomas was small and afraid of thunderstorms. I have something for you, Samuel whispered. In my truck. The glove box. There is a package. After the machines went silent. After the doctors gave their condolences. After the paperwork and the phone calls and the unbearable logistics of death. Thomas found himself standing at the old wooden dock. It was dawn. The mist was rising off the water. The world was holding its breath. In Samuel's truck he had found the journal. Hundreds of Saturdays recorded in faithful handwriting. He had found photographs of himself at 7 and 8 and 9. He had found the new fishing reel still wrapped in birthday paper from 2 years ago, and tucked in the tackle box a note in Samuel's distinctive script. Thomas, if you are reading this, then I have gone to that sunrise we talked about. Do not grieve that I waited. Waiting for you was the greatest joy of my final years. Every Saturday morning I would come to this dock and I would remember the boy you were and I would pray for the man you were becoming. I kept your rod ready because I never stopped believing you would return. I kept the promise because some things are worth keeping even when it costs everything. I love you, little man. I always did. I always will. Go catch some fish. And remember that in that morning that never ends, I will be waiting for you with your rod already baited. Love. Pops. That is when Thomas understood. Samuel had never stopped showing up, even in those final years. Even when his body was failing, even when Thomas had given him every reason to give up, Samuel kept the docks sacred, kept the tackle box ready, kept the door open, because that is what love does. It does not abandon. It does not keep score. It does not say you have been gone too long. It waits. It hopes. It believes the best. It shows up. Thomas began going to the dock every Saturday morning. Just as he had promised all those years ago. He would sit there with 2 fishing rods. One for him. One for the memory that felt more real than anything else in his life. And sometimes in the mist, in the sound of water against wood, in the way the sunrise painted the sky. Thomas swears he can feel Samuel beside him, can hear that steady voice saying, "That is all right, little man. You are here now. That is what matters. Now, my child, listen closely because this is what I need you to hear." That story about Thomas and his grandfather, that is our story. You are Thomas. And I am Samuel sitting on the dock of heaven. How many Saturdays have you missed? How many times have you said, "I cannot make it this week"? How many years have passed while you chased promotions and parties and the applause of people whose names you will not remember in a decade? I am not angry. Fathers do not count the absences. Fathers count the heartbeats. And my heart has been beating for you through every single moment you have been away. This is what I want you to know. I am still on the dock. While you have been building your career. While you have been nursing your wounds. While you have been scrolling through your phone at 3 in the morning looking for something to fill the emptiness. While you have been carrying guilt like a stone in your pocket, telling yourself you are too far gone. Telling yourself you have disappointed me too many times. Telling yourself it is too late to come home. I have been here. Every Saturday morning of your life. Every season of your wandering. I have been sitting on the dock of grace, with the rod of redemption already baited, with the thermos of mercy still warm, waiting, hoping, believing you are worth the wait. Do you know what I have been doing while you were away? I have been preparing a place for you. I have been watching the horizon for your return. I have been speaking your name in the early morning hours when the world is quiet. I have been keeping a record not of your failures, but of my faithfulness. I have been loving you when you did not love yourself. I have been fighting for you when you did not have the strength to fight. I have been there in every moment you thought you were alone. You think you have to get cleaned up before you come back. You think you have to have your life together. You think you have to earn the right to approach me. But that is not how this works. If you feel something stirring in your heart right now, if this story is reaching into that place you have kept hidden, leave a comment below and let me know. You are not alone in this. There are others reading this who have walked away from their dock too. And we are all finding our way home together. I am not asking you to be perfect. I am not asking you to have all the answers. I am not asking you to prove yourself worthy. I love you because you are mine, not because you earned it. Come as you are, broken and whole, strong and weak, faithful and doubting, successful and failing. Just come. The dock is still here. The rod is still ready. The sunrise is still painting the sky every single morning without fail. And there is a place beside me with your name carved into the wood. Do you remember when you were 7 and the world felt safe because someone loved you enough to show up? Do you remember what it felt like to be wanted, to be chosen, to be enough just because you existed? That has not changed. I have not changed. My love for you has not diminished by a single degree. Every person who has walked away from me tells themselves the same lies. It has been too long. I have gone too far. I have failed too many times. He will not want me anymore. He has moved on. He has found someone better. Someone who actually keeps their promises. But let me tell you the truth. There is no one better. There is only you. And I have been waiting for you specifically. Not for a version of you that has everything figured out. Not for the you from 10 years ago before you made those mistakes. For this, you. Right now. Exactly as you are. I know what you have been through. I know about the betrayal. I know about the loss. I know about the addiction. I know about the shame. I know about the nights you cried yourself to sleep. I know about the times you wanted to give up. I know about the secret pain you have not told anyone. And I am still here. Still waiting. Still loving you. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it today. Someone who has been running. Someone who thinks they have gone too far. Someone who needs to know that the dock is still there and the Father is still waiting. You do not need to rehearse what you are going to say. You do not need to bring an offering to prove your worth. You do not need to clean yourself up first. I love you covered in mud and mistakes just as much as I loved you when you were 7 and innocent. Come home. Come home to the place where you are known and still loved. Come home to the arms that have never stopped reaching for you. Come home to the heart that has never stopped beating your name. Come home to the dock where Saturday morning still means something sacred. Come home to the promise that was never broken on my end. I am here, the same yesterday, today, and forever. My love does not fluctuate with your performance. My presence does not depend on your perfection. My faithfulness does not waver when yours does. The sunrise is coming. Can you see it yet? That light on the horizon is not just another day. It is invitation. It is hope. It is the promise that no matter how dark your night has been, morning is breaking. And I am here, in the light, waiting for you. And now I pray, Father, I am Thomas in this story. I am the one who made promises and broke them. I am the one who said next week until next week became next year. I am the one who let the sacred become ordinary until it disappeared altogether. I have missed so many Saturdays. I have been chasing success while you were offering significance. I have been running toward achievements that rust and fade while you have been waiting with love that never diminishes. Today I come to my senses. Today I stop running. Today I turn toward home,